Hello everyone, welcome to our Easy8 webinar, which is going to be today about the HelpDesk plugin. It will be presented by our support manager, Robert Kovacic. And today he's going to show you how you can simply create a ticket via email and how you can communicate with your clients just via ticket. Then we will look at the HelpDesk dashboard where you can see statistics of all open and closed tickets, where you can find all incoming tickets from your clients and you can create their statistics, KPIs. And then we will look also at the HelpDesk project configuration, so you can see how you can set up individual projects and for each project different SLAs or alerts. During webinar, please use the Q&A section for your questions. I will try to answer them during presentation or at the end of presentation. So I will leave it. I will leave everything now to Robo.
So hello everyone. My name is Robert. I am support manager and quality manager in one person of Easy Software. As I work most often with HelpDesk, I'm also the product owner of HelpDesk, which means that I also may take some requests for it and try to decide what will we do now, what will we do later. So let's get right to it. The most important feature of HelpDesk is that it converts emails sent from various people, from users, from your customers who are not a part directly of your system, and converting these emails into tickets, which you then are able to solve in collaboration with your colleagues or simply by directly answering. Right now we are on a HelpDesk dashboard, which is quite simply configured. On one module, you see all of the incoming tickets, the new ones that have yet to be answered. On the bottom module, we see some tickets that have been answered, but were replied to by the client, so they are still in progress. And on the right side, we see some buttons for configuration, which we will get to later, and also some drag and drop areas, which are used to assign the tickets quite easily without leaving the whole page. So how it's started, most of the staff, of the HelpDesk staff, of the support staff, are going to work in the HelpDesk dashboard. Now there are different ways of how a ticket can be distributed. It can either be distributed by a dispatcher. So, for example, he will look at the description of the ticket, and based on it, will assign the task to the best available member of the team. The other way is that each operator is working with this page, and they can assign the ticket to themselves. So this is the one which we are going to try now. So I'm taking the ticket. It's now up to me. It has been already put to my dashboard, to my own personal space. So it's already there. I can take 3 or 4 tickets and then continue to work on them, or I can work on each of them individually. So this ticket is now assigned to me. No one else sees it in the unanswered tickets pool. It now belongs to me, and I'm responsible for the successful result with the customer. Here are some basic attributes. What is most important for me is the customer's email, which I will be communicating with through this ticket, and of course the message which was sent by the customer. If the message is too big to show, or contains some pictures that are not possible to show, which are parsed in this message in the description, it's still possible to directly check the email, the original email, where all of the data is stored. So I see some kind of a problem. Okay, I don't know what exactly should I do here, so I will try to copy some important part of the information that I see of this log. I will check in the knowledge base, and I found some answer for this. So yeah, these logs seem correct. It seems to be the same problem. The solution is to restart Apache. So great. I will now update the ticket. I'm ready to answer. I'm going to write the quick answer. Please restart the Apache. So in our test, this answer is good enough. I'm going to tick that I want to send this reply to the external email. This is the customer who doesn't have access directly to the system, remember? And I'm going to change the status into done. It's one option of how companies can work. When a ticket is answered, it may be labeled as done. And when the customer replies, status is of course automatically changed to reopen, and I see it back in my dashboard, which means that the ticket never gets lost. It's still assigned to me, but it's marked as done for now. So this is all I need to do to comprise an answer. I'm going to save the update, which now takes me to the dialog of preparing the actual email that will be sent to the customer. You can remember that the only thing I wrote in the comment are just these couple of lines, but the email which is going to be sent to the customer is in my corporate colors. It contains some additional text here, for example, dynamically generated URL into our customer portal where the users can check their tickets directly when they can see it on the browser. There is my signature, which is automatically taken from my profile, and the original message at the very bottom, so that the client, when he reads it in the email, he knows what this all about. So I just wrote a couple of lines, and that's all I need to prepare a great professional looking email. So I'm going to send it to this customer. At this moment, I send an email to the client. He got information from the support staff. I'm now just going to show you how it looks in the normal email. The sender was me. It's a bit more personal when you talk to a person instead of when you are talking to a support email. But this is also configurable in our system. Mostly we use it in the sender is the actual user in the system. And this is how the email looks. You are able to, of course, change the layout in any way you wish. So for now, the ticket is closed. When, of course, I would reply to the ticket from the customer's account. When he replies, the status is automatically changed into reopen or whatever status you wish, and it's back there. There are options, of course, to move this ticket internally, to try to help, to find help with your technicians, with other departments. In that case, you can use private comments, reassign the ticket to anyone you need it. Of course, the general working collaboration, which Easy8 is very strong at. When it gets back to you, you will reply to the customer once again and continue to another ticket. The example of what I showed you right now was about the ticket created from email. But of course, some companies, a lot of companies in different services receive customer requests by phone, or in other case, you may have some special VIP clients that you give access directly to your Easy8 with a special personal page where they have the new task form where they can submit the subject and the description of their problem, possibly choose some other fields, for example, priority. So there are more ways how a ticket can be created. if it's created directly from the client within your system, it's just simply about the configuration of the help desk page, that the ticket is always visible there. You have options to make sure that client when submits the ticket, it will get into this the ticket pool. When the ticket comes, when the request comes by phone, then your operators either can solve the issue directly by phone and do not need to get a ticket, but of course many situations when the operator cannot solve it directly, submits the ticket, enters the correct attributes of the ticket, enters either the contact email of the customer, or if doesn't have the contact email, enters different information, for example, contacts from the contact database. If it's a known customer, attaches to the ticket and then pushes it forward to the technical team and to other teams who work directly with the tickets, who then may send the reply, the solution, to the customer who initially called, but then had to be transferred somehow. So the system allows you to get tickets from different ways, but the most common, at least in the Easy8 field, in the technical companies, require some kind of written description of the issues, simply due to the complexity of the services and the technical advancement they provide in their products. An additional information that HelpDesk works in synergy with the contacts is if the ticket the email is sent from a customer whose email is identical to an email in a contact which you have in your database. The contact is automatically linked to the created ticket, so the operator has even more information about the customer. For example, some special configurations, some discount services, and whatever you keep with your customers. So now, from the practical part of practical example of how a ticket works, we are now going to the configuration parts. We start with the mailboxes. Of course, if you want HelpDesk to receive emails, you need to connect it to some mailbox which the emails are sent to. So in our example, we have this kind of mailbox. It's a simple demo mailbox. There are basic settings for email connection, like in all email clients, Outlook or Thunderbird or anything. You need a server and some port, and of course user and password to be able. When you type it in, you are able to test it to see if HelpDesk really can connect, really can communicate with the mailbox. An important setting is up here, where you say how often should HelpDesk look into this particular mailbox. Some would like to have it every minute, but it may get a little bit more demanding on the server if you put it very often. The basic intervals are 5 or 7 minutes. Of course, if it's if it's crucial that the emails are really received then you can apply more performance to the server, more memory, and put it in more often. But the standard is about 5 or 7 minutes. So these settings, there are some more advanced settings which, if necessary, our consultants may help you with during your implementation to your own company. The second part of the email process, the communication process, which, when you remember, I told you about, was the email template. The user just types a simple comment, then an email is generated with a whole lot of formatting. There are two types of mail templates. The first one is basically an auto reply. That means that when a ticket is created in the system, when the mailbox is processed, an automated message is sent to the customer confirming that the ticket has been received. Again, it's completely formattable. It's in HTML. You can add anything you wish. The important part in the auto emails, in the auto replies, is that you need to configure the task status into the state of when a ticket is created. This is also a setting. This is a standard setting. Is basically the first status you have there. So if you configure, if you create a template, a mail template for this status, it acts as an auto reply because the ticket is created in the status. The next part I will explain in the other email. The other template is now when the operator directly writes to the customer as I did, and it acts as the person email, which is something a little bit different than an auto reply, of course, to the customers. I set this specific mail template into status done because that's how my company works, my fictional company works. They close the ticket to done and then they send a reply, which then works. That the template is preset in the email sending dialogue that we saw earlier in the ticket. So I didn't have to choose anything. The operator just wrote the message, went to the next dialogue, just verified the message, whether everything is correct, whether there is no typo, and sends it out. The subject, the email subject is definable. It may contain dynamic tokens such as the task subject, which in fact equals the email subject of the original email that the customer sent us. But it may also contain some other dynamic symbols such as task ID, so that the customer directly sees in the subject of received email that it's about ticket with specific ID. I will just return back to the auto reply. It's a standard practice that if you are working with some kind of IDs, the auto reply will send you reply with the ID that was assigned to the ticket. So whenever the customer calls or reaches you differently, can always refer to this ID, so it's easily searchable. So this is how the template actually looks. The template which generated such an email that we saw earlier. Again, some kind of HTML to help promote the company colors. Then this is the simple token task note, which actually is replaced by my message in the comment that I wrote. This is a standard text, and in the HTML directly, it's possible even here to enter the task ID, for example, the variable the variable token. So I can even generate some special links directly to different systems. Following was the user signature. This one is configured directly in the user profile, which I will now quickly show you. Every HelpDesk operator should have, in the best practice, of course, should have mail signature configured. This is done in the user. Has it anyway? It's also in HTML, so also fully formattable, which means all of your company or corporate standards are put in there. Then we have the last journal of the ticket. This is for a situation when the client replied back to me and I'm replying to his second reply, not to the initial email, just so it is there, so the customer doesn't lose context of, doesn't lose the thread of the whole communication. And then at the very bottom is the original message, just for other reference. This is how a template may look like, but also, of course, our consultants may, or yourself, your technicians locally may also prepare you another custom, a different custom HTML templates to work with. So this was part of the templates. Again, it's a kind of this kind of configuration is mostly done in our HelpDesk implementations, because sometimes it may get a little bit complex and demanding. Now let's go to the projects. Of course, if a task is created in Easy8, it needs to have some project. That's why we need to have some defined projects which are connected to HelpDesk. Again, two parts of projects. One of them is a default project for emails that come, for all messages that come into certain emails. That is this setting, default for mailbox. It means that every email which is sent to this mailbox is created in this project. It has some exceptions which I will explain in just a minute. The basic configuration is the tracker. Of course, it should be a separate tracker for your HelpDesk tickets, separate from all of the other work you do internally. You may choose a default assignee for the new tickets. Again, it's up to the decision of the company. It may have some kind of a dispatcher who works with the tickets, who assigns it to users, or you can leave it empty. And of course, make sure that the ticket does get into the HelpDesk dashboard, so it is in the correct queue, and all of the operators can take it from there. This is configurable. This is very enforceable, that HelpDesk tickets will be in the correct queue. It's quite bulletproof, actually. You can also, of course, check the coworkers. Maybe some supervisor wants to get notifications from the ticket to verify that they are worked on with the attention they deserve, that the answers are in quality as the customer deserve. If you remember that we were closing the tickets when answering them, it can be done also in a different way. For example, I may set that when replying to the customer, I'm going to set the status to check, and then if the customer doesn't reply in 3 days, the ticket is not updated at all, it gets automatically closed into status down. This is also one of the options, and further options are that you have more possibilities to get the automatic updating of tickets. For example, from to check you change it to passive, and then in another 3 days from passive you change it to done. And this is basically 2 phases of ticket closing when you are waiting for the customer's reply. For another setting, I will go to the other type of HelpDesk projects, which are special client projects, so to speak. The difference between these and the general project is that in this project only certain filtered emails are going to be processed, certain filtered tickets are going to be processed. You see that it's not default for any mailbox, but the setting down here tells me that only emails sent to my HelpDesk from this customer are going to be put in this project. You can again set different users, different customers in the setting, but also you can set it to the whole domain, so that the whole company, everyone from a certain company writes you the ticket is in their project. The special projects are configured, are created when you have a special kind of contract with the customer. You may have different levels of SLA, you may have them more strict. you may have some prepaid hours working with the customer. That's why the basic project, general one, would not suffice for this client's needs. So let's start with the SLAs. One type of SLA is that when the subject of the email sent to you and is going to be received in this project, when contains this keyword urgent or any other keyword you can configure, the priority of the ticket will be set to do it now. The hours to respond will be set, of course, hours to solve will be set in a more strict way than when it's any other subject. You may also set a different tracker. If it's urgent, you may have a contract with the client that it's considered a bug and you need to fix it, so the ticket may be created in a different tracker, again, customizable. If it's an urgent ticket, then you have agreed with the customer for 24/7 support, so you have no limitations about the hours when this kind of ticket should be solved. Of course, there is the other kind. Right now in this project, all other emails that don't contain urgent have this kind of SLA, 5 and 10 hours to respond and to resolve. Priority of the ticket is normal, so it's not especially highlighted in the ticket pool. And the working hours, the hours when the ticket should be responded to, are in the standard work hours, office hours that you agreed with the client. Of course, again, very configurable, just about the same as your contract. Also, the working days can be configured, so you don't work on weekends, you don't respond to the customer on holidays. But again, the calendar can be also set in any way imaginable. You can have special vacations, special holidays. You may use weekends, but not use holidays, etc. So this is how complexly you can set the SLA when to respond to a certain client. The other part of clients' projects are contracted monthly hours. You have a special contract for 10 hours in this case, which can be aggregated, which means that if they don't use the hours, the whole 10 hours in 1 month, the left hours will be moved to the other one, can be enabled or disabled, and after a quarter they are still reset, so after 3 months you still get the 10 hours originally. Another special feature, if you already have many clients with the same type of SLA, and you don't want to set all of the SLA possibilities with every new project, you can copy SLA from an existing one, and you still have the client separated, but has some kind of standard SLA for VIP clients. So let's just look at the VIP client project information. These are the contractual hours. This is what is in the contract. This is what has been from the last period. This is how much we can spend. So if 2 hours were taken from last month, I'm going to have 12 hours. This is what was done this month, and this is remaining for the current month. Basically, quite easy for the help desk manager or the account manager to verify how we are fulfilling it, and whether you don't need to extend some kind of the contract. The similar view can be done also on the help desk dashboard. For example, you have the list of projects with these numbers directly available to you in the table. So you may even have it sorted by these hours, so you have an overview of all of the client projects and how you are working with their hours. So from from my side, this would be all. We are now ready for your questions, which we are going to answer off the record. So with this, I apologize to the attendees, to the customers listening to or watching it from the recording on YouTube. We will be available for your questions when you reach us. So thank you for watching, and let's get to the questions.